the plugin developer will just have to say, okay, my plugin is in this repository on this folder, and automatically our system will just pull their plugin, build it themselves, and we will distribute it on our store.
Okay, so here is the deal. When one of you isn't on the call, then we assign all of the leftover tasks to them. So we'll just keep assigning them to Gooks, I guess. What's next for the next big release, 1.7? And if we have any questions or suggestions for the previous one, if we have the time at the end, I guess. But since we are very limited on the time, I'll try to be efficient.
Well, limited. Oh, it's only me. After you can keep talking, you know.
Yeah, but all like the big technical questions probably need to go through you anyway, so it's probably best to just go straight into those. So just to give a context a little bit, guys, 1.7 is in August probably, which is a holiday season, and most of us are traveling here and there. So will the users. So we'll try to like have this release not be feature rich, I guess, but we'll try to address some of the important things. So the highlight for this release is, improving the checkout page, which will require quite a bit of user research and experiments. That's what Dennis and Destruct have been working on. Then improving the refund flow, which, as you know, we did a little bit of improvements around that. But again, Dennis is, I think, tackling this one as well. So we'll see how that one goes. I think it's half already merged in the previous release, so it should be good for this one. As usual, you can see the release board. If you go to the BTCPay Server organization, you can click on projects, and there you will have like a BTCPay Server roadmap, which I will share in a moment in chat. Sorry, my PC is a little bit slow today, so yeah. So here you can see the tagged issues that will go into 1.7. This isn't the final list as usual. This is something that we agreed on earlier on design calls and things like that. So it is now a good time if you guys want anything more or you're working on something new. Maybe it's now a good time to discuss that. I have a couple of questions for very specific issues that I want to run by you guys, but we can maybe start just with questions. Does anybody have any questions around what's tagged into the project board, or if you have any suggestions what you want to add basically here for the next release?
So as far as I'm looking, like I don't know, I don't even know if at this point it should be considered like a major release.
It always piles on. It always piles on. I'm sure it will pile on eventually. So this is just the basic structure, and once we start building, we'll probably add quite a lot of stuff. So this is like very bare bone. I'm sure I missed maybe a few issues, so I'll go through the issues once again just to make sure that everything is in. But as I said, it should probably be kept, a little bit more simple than usual because of the holidays, conferences, BTCPay Server Day, and all of the things. So.
There is one thing that I'm missing, and it's something that Cooks wanted to do, and I kind of did it in a bad way before, and I think it's a really good idea, but it was not really well presented. It's the print view for crowdfunding. So the basic idea is, so we already have a print view for the point of sale system. The idea is that you just have a piece of paper with a QR code on it, and you can, use the point of sale system without having, the need of a physical point of sale, just having the paper. And I think it's a good idea to do the same for for the crowdfunding, but I don't see it here.
Yeah, I added a to-do for myself. I will open that issue. Okay. I agree. That would be a nice feature to have. So. Yeah.
As I mentioned on the design meeting, I'd like to set aside some time during this release to work on the plugins. And there are many things I could work on. My main goal is to make, for instance, LN Bank compatible with the Blue Wallet app, which would be very nice. I have some PRs up already that work towards this with regards to authorization and stuff.
Wait. Just for information, Blue Wallet, if I understand, they are using what they call the Lightning Hub, right, or something like this.
LND Hub, yeah.
LND Hub. Like why it will be connecting directly to the LN Bank rather than the Greenfield API, so that we can support everything.
Well, my use case is to make LN Bank available to Blue Wallet users, so they can use their LN Bank wallets with the Blue Wallet app, so that I don't have to develop a mobile app for LN Bank.
Yeah, but if you do the same thing for BTCPay for the BTCPay Server API, like not only it will be possible to use LN Bank, but on top of it, like just using LND via BTCPay Server, like basically it will be possible to plug the internal Lightning node to your Blue Wallet as well.
Yeah, that would also be possible, I think.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's specific to LN Bank. Like I don't see why it would be specific to LN Bank, because like we're already exposing everything that I guess that Blue Wallet need. I think I didn't go too deep into it. Yeah,
I mean, it depends on whether or not we already have requests from people that want to use the internal Lightning node with Blue Wallet.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay, but I just mean that the technical difficulty to only supporting LN Bank and on supporting just the Greenfield API, it's about the same, but the Greenfield API is like support.
What we would have to do is to come up with a separate controller. We can't use the Greenfield API directly because the app expects the endpoints and return values that it uses. And so we have to come up with an interface that supports that.
Yeah, it can be I think this can be a separate project that we just integrate into the BTCPay Server Docker as a fragment. And basically, if somebody wants this, that they can just add the fragment and it just work.
Or a plugin. Why I came to it was that I had some requests for that, and for me it's easier to just do it inside LN Bank and be done with it.
Okay.
And then there's also something I started yesterday, making the crowdfund and POS apps also plugins. I think I can finish this later today or tomorrow. This might be good before Cook starts implementing the LN URL stuff for the crowdfund feature you mentioned before.
Okay. But why in this case it will be plugin? Why doing this? Okay.
I think it's just a matter of cleanup, like we did with the pay button in the last release.
I see. Yeah, it's kind of system plugin that are just okay.
Yeah. So from a code perspective, it's basically more or less just moving some files around and separating.
It's not bad. Like
Okay. So in general, I'd like to set aside some time for plugin stuff this release.
I have a question for Dennis. So would that cause any breaking change for the existing users that run crowdfunding? I assume not, but just curious. Yeah, if I have a crowdfund and I update, I hope it won't mess up.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's just like we did with the pay button. It's more like a structural change regarding the code, but all the URLs, etc., stay the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One more thing, I saw that Umar is working on like adding API for the apps. So you may want to coordinate with him just to see how we can make that happen. Because he's, I think, from what I've seen, I'm not sure of the exact number of the PR, but I think he's adding like a capability of adding more functionality for the apps. So it would be nice if you can reach out to him just to agree like on the approach so that you don't step on each other's toes as you progress. But
yeah, I don't think we'll step on each other's toes, but we could later on, once I've established the structure, also move the API endpoints into the plugin folder as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically this is just for the users that they don't have to think about apps and plugins, so they will in the future think only on about plugins, that we will completely remove the app kind of, I guess, terminology, which is just...
Yeah, I think we can solve this completely unobtrusively for the user.
I don't know if it will be possible to remove the apps terminology, because like so many documentation and like step-by-step stuff has been written.
Find and replace.
Yeah, and like delete the old videos as well. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We are still far from there, but yeah.
Yeah, we cannot keep everything backwards compatible, Emperor. The documentation will need to get, I guess, improved eventually. But yeah, Bus is on that, as he says in the comments. So we'll see. Okay, yeah. Anybody else wants to like talk about what they are working on?
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted, like Cook's input on this. He didn't get me the input, but it's also related to plugins. I don't know if it will be on 1.7, to be honest. Maybe it's kind of parallel to that. But I think that the plugin system is actually working quite well, like using by lots of people right now. There is lots of use case. And so the basic idea of plugin is that people can develop their own stuff without having to ask to everybody to review everything and like stepping on each other's toes. And it seems to work well. Like there is lots of plugin with specific use case, and I really want to put more, let's say, resources and more effort to make the development of plugins as well as the discovery of plugins easier. So actually, I opened a discussion somewhere. It's there. Copy here. So the basic point I was making is that right now developing plugin, it's kind of difficult, except like if you are one of the BTCPay server team that know of the internal are working. And right now, for example, we have one project that is called BTCPay Server Abstraction, which is kind of a separate project that plugins can build, can use to develop, to be developed. But I think this project is kind of high maintenance, and I think we can do without it. So I'd like to find technical solution, like to a clear step for people. Okay, you want to develop a plugin here. Here's the step that we want to do, and ideally in those steps, I just want people to be able to add plugins directly inside the BTCPay server fork repository. So basically, they can just do F5 to debug and like developing plugin as if they were like contributing directly to BTCPay server. And we would have a separate website that would be I don't know, like store.btcpayserver.org. Maybe it's not store, but like plugin store or whatever. Like I left Pat the naming before he get angry at me. And the idea is that there we will list all the plugins, and or backend we will have on our side, the plugin developer will just have to say, okay, my plugin is in this repository on this folder, and automatically our system will just pull their plugin, build it themselves, and we will distribute it on our store. And so because right now what plugin developers are doing is like committing the whole binaries in a zip file inside GitHub, and it's like horrible because you don't know exactly the code you're executing and who updated the code, or like you have no way to. You really have to trust the person that reads these binaries. Whereas if we can assure to people, okay, these binaries as this compiled on this commit of this repository, then people can have better vision of what they are executing on their BTCPay server. I don't know if we must say that it will be part of 1.7. Maybe it's too big, and maybe it's kind of parallel to it. But yeah, it's another improvement to plugins I'd like to work on.
If we can, we should make this a priority, I think.
Yes, I agree.
Why?
Because we're working on plugins.
Yeah, but the goal is to do that without breaking any plugin that is already existing. So
yeah,
so
First and foremost, I want to be able to use it as a plugin developer because,
okay.
as Wouter is about to mention, I think the current way of doing it works, but nevertheless, it's rather clumsy, and you listed some of the points already.
Yep. Yeah, I was thinking also like Wouter did lots of work on the custodian stuff. I'm wondering if later we can move everything as a plugin, or maybe we don't need to. I'm not sure. Maybe not. We don't need to. But yeah, I think we'll see after we developed. I try to develop this backend and see if we can like try to move stuff in the plugin so that it can be easily updated without having a release cycle.
Did you read my comment at the bottom of the discussion? Because I think that solves the issue you described quite easily.
Wait, I replied one thing to you today, but I don't remember.
So basically,
okay, yeah.
So we can put plugins in separate repositories, and Git submodules would be a very easy solution to solve the issue that you mentioned. So if you want to make this into a plugin store, there's no need to take the take the repo plus the branch plus the directory where is the code. If people just put it directly in a separate repo and they just follow the steps that I outlined, it should be just as easy to work on it. And then all the code is in one project. You can hit your F5 as many times as you like, and it'll work just fine. That's how I'm doing it right now, anyway.
The install process would be adding the submodule of the plugin? Or what would that look like?
Well, it's only for development. So the submodule, that's just a way to hook everything up for the developer. So in the end, it would just build that DLL zip or whatever it is, and that would still get shipped. So it's just a way to get your Git inside Git. There's nothing more to it, really.
Yeah, the point that I found interesting in Nicolas' discussion is how we will solve the end user part of installing plugins and offering a great experience there. Because I think what would be great would be to have something like the Umbrel guys did with their app store. So the user can visit a simple page, be it on the internet or on their BTCPay instance, explore a plugin, and then click an install button and be good to go.
I guess we need to restart the application, right?
So yeah, like BTCPay server need to restart, but yeah, that's fine. But so one thing I want to avoid as well is that currently, like we have the plugin page is directly linking to our store, or is directly linking to the BTCPay server plugin repository. And I think it's not good, because I hope we could encourage like people to have their own store in a sense. And like the idea is that if you want to install a new plugin, the best is that you go to this store and then you find the plugin that you want, and then there is detailed step on how you can install it on your instance. Maybe it can just be like, I don't know, copy paste a string like somewhere in your BTCPay server and you're done. But I wish as well to remove the current way where you can browse the plugin directly inside your BTCPay server instance, because it's linking to a specific plugins repository.
But wouldn't that like completely break the experience that we already have, like click and install versus go to this page, copy the string, add it here, and then run?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I don't have good answer to that. So as well, right now the approach that we have is start having issues. So the approach that we have is that when we open the plugin page, we are fetching like lots of files from GitHub, and now like the more plugin we have, the more risk that we have to get kicked by GitHub for spamming with requests, and it cannot hold anymore. So I don't have good. Also, what's priority? Like, imagine that we have like 1,000 plugin. We are still not here, but like, how do we show them? Which plugin do we show first? And it's not something that we can easily answer as well. So that's why I wish that the website for browsing plugins was different than inside BTCPay Server, because else we'll need to code the logic on about which plugin to feature inside BTCPay Server itself, and I don't think it's the right place. But I agree, it's nice to be able to see the plugins and then to click install and be done with it. So I'm not sure about the UX.
Yeah, I think this is something we need to explore, and we can note down some ideas we have, and then explore what would need to be done to make this technically happen.
Well, WordPress is a good example here, I believe.
So WordPress, as far as I understand, they have these two ways. They have you can browse the store directly inside your own WordPress instance, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the separate site.
Yep.
But it's
maybe you're right. Maybe it's the right way to do.
But it's the same engine. So if you browse the plugins from inside WordPress, or you go to the site, it's just the same thing. So it's just an API, I guess, with a search engine, and if you click download on the site, you get a zip folder. Or if you click download from the backend, then it downloads the zip and unpacks it itself. So it's
so
basically
maybe
the same thing.
You're right. In this case, maybe we should inspire from them. Yeah, indeed, I didn't think about it, but yeah, their UX is quite good.
What does installing a plugin look like today? Is it like getting a zip file and placing it somewhere and then restarting, or what is expected?
You have two ways. You have one way where you download the zip file, you upload it to your server, and then it restarts your server. Mm-hmm. And there is a way where you see in the same page, you see also a bunch of plugins that has been already developed, and you can directly click install, and it basically under the hood, you just download it and like do the same steps.
Okay. Is that documented somewhere? Is that documented somewhere, how to install a plugin?
Well, it's not. I don't know if it's documented, but it's not really hard. Like if you click on the plugin, on the left, you click on the menu and then you see directly how it works. Like it's quite simple right now. Like there is no search. Like there is just a button say upload plugins, or like you see all the plugins and with a button say install. So it's quite self-explaining right now. But yeah, it doesn't scale.
Yeah, what WordPress does is they have like a rating system plus categories, plus they charge also money for certain plugins to be featured. Like they reached out to us, would you guys like to be featured? And then I explained what we do. But yeah, they we need to be paid to feature you. So
but then anyway, there is no money, and they didn't talk to us again.
Yes. No, actually, they were very interested in the concept. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He was just like, it's a big bureaucracy thing, but let's stay in touch. I really like the ethos and what you guys are doing. So you never know what will come out of that. It's good that we are connected to them, at least.
Yeah, but having a separate website like we have with the directory already would allow us to easily add things like that in the future. And by easily, I mean, well, someone has to develop it. Nevertheless, the core product wouldn't have to be bothered with it.
Yep.
And we can do less calls to GitHub.
Yep. Yeah, it will solve this problem. Like right now, I don't know if you hit this problem, but on development environment, every time I click on the page, like I just get rate limits by GitHub.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there is an easy way for people to somehow install it, I wouldn't mind having them to copy things. But yeah, if it's a very nice page which explains things and has categories, at a certain point we'll really need to scale it up, because definitely the amount of plugins will increase over time. So let's discuss just async a little bit, just to flesh out a few ideas, I guess, and then maybe try to come up with a solution. But we shouldn't rush it, because if we keep changing it, it will get tricky.
Yep.
Okay, since we have Nico for I think a few more minutes, does anybody have a urgent matter that needs Nicolas?
I have no urgent matter, but only a small thing where I would appreciate if you took a look, Nicolas. It's about the WordPress Docker. There's a pull request where I updated all the versions.
Okay.
And I also
Yeah,
updated the plugin from the legacy plugin to the V2 plugin.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
I think one minor issue we had is that the versioning depended on the plugin version of the WooCommerce plugin. And now we have a different version. So we start with 1 again, and the other one was 3. So we will run into conflicts when we are at 3 or something like that. So maybe we should version the Docker image itself without any dependence on the plugin. So it does not matter what the plugin version is, but the Docker image has its own version. You know what I mean? Because now,
so you will remove completely the plugin from the Docker file.
No, but now that the legacy WooCommerce plugin is version C.0.16, for example.
Yeah.
And also the WooCommerce Docker image is the same version number. So we need a separate version number for the Docker WooCommerce image. It should not depend on the version of the plugin, because now we have the legacy one and the new one.
I see.
It was carried over for convenience, but it's not really the idea now, because we have 2 different plugins.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I take a look at that. By the way, I have so many notifications on GitHub that in general I don't look at them too much. So when you guys want to ping me to review something, just ask on the BTCPay server chat. It's the only thing I'm looking. So okay. I think that's what you said. That makes sense for WooCommerce, definitely.
Yeah, it's just for the image.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Is there something else?
No, maybe if you could also test it, but I think it's all fine. So the old legacy, so for already installed plugins, it will not change anything. So the old plugin stays there. They need to manually install the new plugin anyway, but only new installations will be affected. So.
Oh yeah, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't break running systems or something like that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I leave you for today, but yeah, feel free to continue, and I will when I come back, I will look at the YouTube record. So after I can catch up. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. See you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Shall we go down the list of 1.7 things?
Yes. I was about to say that. So I also see that Rustywave had a few questions as well. So maybe he wants to discuss the issue that he is tackling, and then we can see which of these are assigned them.
Yeah. Nice to meet everyone. This is my first call. Just joined the project a couple months ago and think it's a really great project. Just trying to contribute where I can. I'm out in California, so it's like 7:30 in the morning here. Yeah, anyway, so I was working on the the invoice export, adding refunds to it. And yeah, it had a couple questions. So currently, if you export invoices, it actually lists out each payment for the invoice and doesn't do refunds. And I think we wanted to add refunds. However, each refund has multiple pull payments possibly. So just wanted to discuss how to display that if we wanted to either make it just a top level invoice only, or to also add the pull payments so we have payments and pull payments for each invoice.
Dennis, any ideas?
I've seen the comments on this issue. Nevertheless, I didn't find the time yet to go into the depth of it. I'm to be honest, I'm not that knowledgeable in that area, so I think just answering it now, wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah, I guess the main problem is if you export invoices, are we now exporting like everything else that isn't really an invoice, such as full payments and things like that? Is that correct? At least that's what I understood from quickly reading this comment.
Yeah. So it seems like each invoice can have multiple payments and multiple pull payments. Yeah. So not sure if we just want to do an invoice only and not leave out the details. And not include the details, or if we want to include the details.
Yeah, I think the problem here is that end user doesn't really make distinction between like pull payment and an invoice. For them, it's just like I made an invoice, I made a refund. I want to see like the amount I refunded on the invoice. But technically, they're different things, right? So one thing we can do is ask people, like, do they need the refund option? I think they do, because like once you export invoices and you have refunded ones, I don't know how people even do accounting with this. For me, at least, it was really confusing not to have the refunded included in the invoice export.
Yeah, originally I added the refund amount and currency as a column, but then I realized that actually an invoice has multiple payments, so then it didn't quite make sense, because then I was adding a refund to the payment, which is not exactly right. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really too familiar with this either, but I guess from an invoice export perspective, it probably should just be one line per invoice and then add a refund at the end. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with this, so.
So what's the general use case here? Is it fixing accounting that might be broken right now?
Yes, imagine like having 10 payments, you refund 3 of them, then you export invoices, and then you will see 10 payments and not the ones you refunded.
Okay,
like we don't include the amount anywhere. If
it's mostly for accounting, or I think also in general, we I haven't used the invoices export yet, but from what you say, it would make sense to kind of turn it inside out and have the payments as the main entity, and the connection to the invoice as a column or some kind of meta information. But what's actually relevant for the accounting is the payments that are associated with an invoice, I think.
Good point.
Yeah. I think we can probably go with that, because I'm just curious if, it has like very specific, like.
But also on the invoice, you have things like the order ID, which connects to your store. So you also need that one.
Yeah, sure. But from what I understand right now, we have one row per invoice, and it aggregates all the payments.
It does. You mean in the export right now?
Yeah.
No, actually, one invoice can have multiple lines. Like if one invoice has 2 payments on it, then it will have 2 lines.
Ah, okay. So it's already like I imagined it. Okay, but what's hindering us to add the refund payment or payments as separate items to the list? Just
for the pull payments, there's no hindrance. It's more of a clarification. Do we want to have it broken out, or do we want just one line per invoice? But no hindrance, as far as I can see.
Ah, okay. And that's because a refund can consist of multiple pull payments.
Right.
So then you have multiple lines, I guess, with a negative amount.
Yeah, that's how I do it, and basically have one row per payment.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's
would also do. Yeah. Sorry.
No. That's go ahead.
I would also do all the details, because they need to aggregate that data, and I think it's important that they have all the data so they can make sure the payment went to this address and that address and so on, so that they can prove the funds went this route and so on. So I think we should have as many details as possible, and they need to make the import work for the accounting.
When you say order details, do you mean like the destination
Separate
address?
lines per pool payment and separate lines per payment. So
Oh, okay.
that you have all the details and can distinguish between the separate payments. I think, in my opinion, because it should be as many details as possible.
Yeah, agreed. And we shouldn't dumb it down for for the export, especially. And I think having it listed with one row per payment makes it easier for the merchant to match what he sees in the UI.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, sounds good. Just had one other question on that, although it's not related exactly to this ticket. Is when you export the invoices, it exports what's shown on the page, not what the user has selected. As far as checkboxes go, I probably won't fix that in this specific ticket, but I guess if we want to create a new one for that, I don't know if we want to address that or not. Not really.
I think there is a ticket for that one. I think Wouter opened it. I will find it and I will send it in the notes. So I think we have it.
All right. I think I'm good then. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for taking that on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you also for fixing the bug I found very quickly.
Sure.
Okay. I also have something I want to talk about. As you guys probably know, I'm working on the custodian accounts. I have a PR that's ready for review that adds trading support, so you can buy and sell your assets on your Kraken account if you have the Kraken plugin, that is. So that's up for review. And afterwards, I want to add withdrawing and depositing. And if at all possible, my aim is to be ready with this in time for Riga. So I guess after this PR, there will be 2 more. Deposits and withdrawals will be small ones. So I think we can do it. If you guys find this worthy of your time and could take some time to review as well, it would be awesome.
Yeah, I've already reviewed it yesterday, and from what I've seen, it's really cool. I'll give it a final review today and maybe get rid of my Songbird tokens. And I think it's good to go afterwards.
So I haven't really thought about which version, is it 1.7 or 1.8. I just have this goal of Riga in mind, and that's it basically.
That's the only goal you need. Get ready for Riga. Does anybody else have any questions? And how is open cart integration going? Have you started working on that one, or?
Yeah, I started, but it's not finished yet. I also worked a bit on the WooCommerce plugin because there was some use or some edge case, I don't know, some event that we did not handle yet. So if an invoice was paid late, so it was already expired, but then the payment was received, we did not listen for that event. So I will do a release the next couple of days. There are some other things I fixed, and yeah. But I will see. The last few weeks I was on holiday. The last 2 weeks not, but I continue to work on the open card, and I think I will have it ready for sure for 1.7, but maybe earlier. Yeah. So
awesome.
I will work in the next weeks on that to get it finished.
Nice. Let us know if you need any help with it. So just for testing at least, or reaching out to people, because I do remember quite a few people requested it in the past. So we may have some.
I will update that issue when it's ready for testing, and then like we did for the Joomla integration, so that some people test it and then we are sure, or kind of sure it works. And then we can do the video and open it up to the public.
Yes, Bas also mentioned in the chat that Joomla video is getting ready for tomorrow, so
Yeah.
I assume people will start testing it. Excited about that one.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, just going down through the list, we have quite a few issues that aren't really assigned. So do you guys want to go through them, or do you have any other things you want to tackle first?
I think the dashboard balance stuff might be something that Cooks wants to explore in terms of the whole Blazor stuff he's right now working on. So that might be something he can take on.
Okay, I assigned it to him. I will say that Dennis assigned it.
Sorry.
Okay, let's see, what else do we have? I wanted to discuss actually about this payment request and emails, but I wanted to talk with Cooks about it because he was the one that apparently had an idea how we can fix it. So right now we have like an email field in the payment request, which really doesn't do anything. And some people expect once you like create an invoice for a client that basically they will receive an email like here is invoice that you need to pay. And I guess with recent changes of us adding like email customization and things like that, maybe this is finally possible. But I guess I will also assign this one to Cooks because he commented on that issue too, that he has a few ideas around how we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think there are multiple places where we offer functionality like you described. For instance, with the pay button, it's also possible to receive an email. And maybe we can work towards unifying all of that into the new email stuff we ship with 1.7 or 1.6.
Okay, so here is the deal. When one of you isn't on the call, then we assign all of the leftover tasks to them. So we'll just keep assigning them to Cooks, I guess, as a form of punishment. Yes, so I assigned that one to Cooks. I think, I guess I found an issue for Rusty as well. This is one is around exporting. So I will leave a comment. Rusty, you may want to take a look at it if you want. So
Okay, sure.
And yeah, we have like a bug in the Greenfield API. I think this one was filed by Entity, but issue is 3966.
Yeah, Uma is our API guy now.
Yeah, it's only a small issue. So in the processing event, it correctly marks sets the marker for expired, but in the settled one, it does not. I think it will be not that hard to fix.
Well, Umar is not here, so assigned to Umar.
This is fun.
Yeah, it really fits what he's like tackling recently. So yeah, when people ask us how we make decisions, we just make sure that everybody are on a call and we just pile on issues to others. Okay, I guess that's all when it comes to assigning for this specific project. But if there are any other PRs you guys want to discuss or issues want to include it here, just yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'll nag Nicolas to review the two ones I sent to extend for being able to extend the plugin system. I think it's really nice because they together, those two PRs I have up make it possible for the plugins to reuse the current policy and permission system we have in the app. And yeah, it's really cool to be able to use it that way and don't have to reinvent the wheel.
I have a question regarding plugins. When I go to upload plugin, it gives me a big yellow warning message that this is an extremely dangerous operation. Is there some possibility of isolating plugin execution from the rest of BTCPay's code so that they have to go through the API or certain internal methods so that they don't have direct access to, let's say, the database or something like that?
From what I've heard and seen, there's at least right now we don't have any kind of sandboxing, and from the initial discussions Cooks and Nicolas had about the current plugin system, it didn't sound like it's possible to do.
Because on the other hand, this means that if we introduce such a plugin store website, we still need to review plugins and make sure that no one pushes an update that does dangerous things to the users.
Yeah, so in general, the same warning you see when you upload a plugin yourself applies to what you install from what we right now have as the store. I think the main difference is that right now, to be able to get on the store, you have to get a PR merged by Cooks, and well, right now it's just only the few of us who are developing plugins, but that will change once we come up with the documentation for that.
Sure, and it needs to scale. I mean, if we have this store system and maybe even the option of providing paid plugins, or I don't know where this is going, it might blow up in our faces.
Yeah, but we also certainly don't want to be an Apple and review all the plugins.
Yeah, but
yeah, I get what you mean, and I think it's a very valid point for discussion when we maybe rework the plugin system towards what Nicolas laid out.
So maybe I can tell something how WordPress does it, and also Joomla. So they have some code linting running over everything in the plugin, and then also some basic manual review. So they check if you if you don't sanitize inputs and so on. So yeah, it's always a balance between how work intensive it is, and yeah. But I think we should not do absolutely no review or no static code analysis at all, but some basic security measurements, I think, would make sense. But I think also this will develop, so we can't be there from the beginning, but we should consider all of this in when we lay out how this all works.
Maybe in the store there's a seal like approved by BTCPay core developer team or something like that, when it was reviewed, and if it wasn't, then it's at your own risk, something like that.
It's always at your own risk, but
yeah,
I get what you mean. So some kind of quality patch or something like that.
Yeah, but it can't be an assurance because
nobody wants to take on the liability. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the main benefit, and Nicolas also described it earlier in this call, is using the plugin system to develop things that are independent of each other. And I think this has the potential to accelerate development even for the core product, because once we get accustomed to developing new features as plugins rather than inside the core app, there's a lot of possibility. But nevertheless, well, there's also the problem of others introducing maybe malicious code, and I think it will be hard to tackle the latter, because there are if someone's malicious, there are multiple ways he can attack such a system.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true for sure, but I see it like the plugin directory for Joomla and WordPress, they are more, so if you want to be present there, so if you want to have your plugin listed and searchable from within the UI, you need to pass some basic security checks, I would say. But this does not hinder you to install a plugin which you downloaded from GitHub or something like that. This is always possible, and I think this is always possible also for BTCPay. But the plugin page, maybe we have only this default plugin page, and if you want to get listed there, you have to pass some basic checks. But you can, for example, like it was with PHP Composer, you have your own private store, so to speak, which you can also fetch plugins from. But I think the official one maybe has some gatekeeping to do. I don't know. Yeah. Or we keep it open for everybody to submit, but then I think the quality issue or the quality is not that good, I think.
We'll end up coming up with KYD, know your developer policies. And
yeah, I know it's always bad, but I'm not sure. If we just open up and let everybody do what they want to do.
I like the Composer approach because that's how most of the Linux distros do it as well, that you can add your own package repositories as a user and decide you want to install software from there. And they curate the software themselves. They do the gatekeeping. Maybe we don't even have to do all this. Maybe we can outsource it. Let the user add an URL with the repository, and then they can install the software from there.
Yeah,
if it's not too complicated.
As we see, there are lots of angles to explore.
Yeah, let's take the discussion to the Mattermost, I guess, to have some more voices heard.
Yeah, or the GitHub discussions entry.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Are we good then?
Yeah, seems we are. It seems that we have 1.7 pretty much, I guess, organized and ready to go. And as always, we'll probably add a few more things as we develop. So if you want anything else added, guys, just feel free to comment in the development chat, the GitHub discussion, or wherever you see or feel the most comfortable with. I guess that's it. We can end this call unless anybody else has any final words.
Can I make you do the YouTuber thing of like and subscribe and stuff to the channel and stuff? And then we can end it.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Yes.
Come to Riga.
Exactly. Guys, thank you very much. It was a good call. See you all again.
Yeah, cheers. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye, everyone.
For too long, we've relied on trusted third parties to process digital payments. Our trust has been broken. We've made them obsolete. The world is changing, and so are your customers. As cash payments decrease, digital payments become the standard. But if you do not hold your keys, you do not hold control of your money. BTCPay is an entire payments platform, helping people achieve financial freedom with donations, payments, and more. Help your family and onboard your friends. Use BTCPay to host multiple stores and become a payment platform of your own. While the world changes around you, stay in control of your finances. It's simple to use, censorship resistant, and completely free. This is more than a payment platform. It's transforming digital payments as fast as the world around us.